Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. In this video, I am doing a walkthrough of my 2016 December daily album. So I think right now, the supplies that I bought for this year's album is currently being shipped to me. So I'm pretty excited to get that package in the mail. But before that comes, I really wanted to look through the album I did last year, kind of get an idea of some of the stories I told and what products I used and what I did. And so I thought that I would do that walkthrough with you guys today so you could get an idea as well and hopefully get some inspiration. So the album and the supplies that I used last year were primarily the kits that came from Ali Edwards. And if there is something that did not come in the kit, I'll be sure to let you know as we walk through. You can see that this album is a white with gold polka dots. This was one of the options last year. I really like this. It's very versatile. You could definitely have purchased it and used it for a variety of albums. All right, so as I open this up, what I like to do is always have some type of like opener or title page or something like that. So I've got this star that I embossed with gold embossing powder, and then I just put it on a transparency. There are some transparencies in the album that are a little bit thicker that came in the kit. This is just one that I bought. I think it's from Bella Boulevard. And you can see that I just kept the back wood and I didn't, I thought that that was fine to leave it like that. Then this first page, this actually is a digital file that came from Paisley Press. I really like her products as well, and you'll probably see more of that from this year as well. And then on the back side, this is I actually made this calendar, and I do have a tutorial if you are interested. I will link it. I'll have it up here in the corner, but I will also link it down below as well. This text right here and this little design came from Paisley Press. So what I was hoping for is really just to get an idea of what the month looked like, but also each day I kind of wrote, it was either maybe like a highlight or, something that went on that day, something that I really wanted to remember. Like I'm seeing that on the 16th, it snowed, like it was a really crazy snowstorm. And then I'll have like performances that the kids had or maybe parties or little things like that. Because I try and have my stories not necessarily fact-based stories. Some of them are, but most of them are more feeling-based. I really like to be able to have a little bit more facts in the album. So that was my thinking when I put this together. I'm thinking about doing something similar this year as well. Then I started out with a reason why. So I just wrote a little bit about why I am embarking on this project. And then I just have some twine here that I just got from the craft store. And then on the back there, you can see that I just have just a card that came in the kit. Oh, also I thought I would mention, so these letters here, I actually put on a thin transparency. You can see that it's just sitting, sorry, it's not focused, but you can see that it's just sitting on a transparency. And when it's in the pocket, you can't tell. It literally looks like it is floating just in that pocket because you can't see the transparency at all. So that's an option if you're, wanting to have something that's looking like it's floating. Then I come to day one. So one thing I thought that I would let you be aware of is when I'm doing this project based on stories. So I have 25 stories in here. Some of them happen to be on the exact day of the number that I'm using, but some of them don't, and that's totally fine. What was more important to me was not the date so much as it was that I wanted to get 25 stories told. So that's how I really embarked on this project. So this number one, this first story that I'm telling is all about picking out our Christmas tree. And we did that in November. It was that, we usually do it the weekend of Thanksgiving. So that was the first thing we told. It's usually one of the first things we do to kind of kick off this season. And then number two, one of the other things we do also in November is our Advent calendar. So definitely a story. I'll probably end up telling these stories as well. And I don't know if they'll be 1, 2 or not, but they definitely are ones that are towards the front, will definitely be towards the front of the album. So one thing that I will definitely, that you'll see as I go through this album is I always have some things that, you know, maybe you'd think of them as fillers, but I kind of want some like landing pages or places to kind of rest your eye as you're moving from one story to the next. And so you'll see that as I go through this album. So that's just one of these to kind of, you know, tie the whole page together. But also because I wanted to add this large photo. I really loved adding large photos to this album, and I think I will most definitely do it again this year as well, maybe add more, because I had a lot of fun doing it. This was just about like decorating the tree, is I believe the story that I told there. On the back side is a wish list. Definitely had a lot of fun using the typewriter that I had just got in this album. Oh, you'll probably see a wish list again. It's one of those things that I think lends itself to the holiday season. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I haven't made plans for stories. And then just a little detail here. So this is just a party bag, and you'll probably see me utilize this a little bit more this year because I really like them, and I bought a whole pack, and I think there's like 8 per pack, and I have a black one, and I think I might have gold as well. But I just thought it would be fun to add this party bag, and then in here I'm just writing a little letter to my daughter, which is corresponding with this page, so these two go together. So it doesn't really have anything to do with the holiday season per se, but just a little letter to her. I definitely like including, like I'd mentioned, those types of stories in the album, not just fact-based. And then I just used, this is a love die that came from Ellen Hudson, and then again, that same star transparency. So definitely doing some repeating of products, which I think is great to kind of keep the album together. Then the story on number 6, now also keep in mind, this is one story. So it can be this simple of doing, and some words, a story, and a picture just on one card. So this is really, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than this. The story is just all about making our favorite peppermint cookies. So that is the story I told there. This, these are the same letters, stickers, and I just used a vellum piece to put it on there, but you could have just put it right on top of the photo if you wanted as well. Number 7. So this was actually a lot of fun because this was a very impromptu photo shoot that I did with my daughter Tess, and I can't remember why we ended up doing it, but once I did photos of her and I thought, you know what, this could make a really great collage for a Christmas card, I decided to take photos of the other girls. And then my husband happened to be out of town for like right in the middle of December. And so what I ended up doing was I took a picture of both of us that we took at a photo booth at a wedding. And it just happened to fit in because it was very silly. So I used these photos for our photo card and I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. In fact, I liked it so much. I'm like, I want to do it again, but probably need to come up with another idea there. But that's something fun that you could do if you didn't have a family photo, which I didn't really have a family photo, so that's why I went ahead and did that. And then on the back side, I just did some gold foiling and did each letter separately, and it spells out Christmas, obviously. So I thought that that was a fun thing to kind of just add into the album. And then number 8, so this journaling was all about how I was feeling and changes that possibly might come up for the next year. So I read this quote, and I'll just read it to you. It says, "Sometimes our lives have to be completely shaken up, changed and rearranged to relocate us to the place we're meant to be." I read this, and maybe it's in the journaling of where I read it. It was probably on Instagram or something. And it really got me thinking because at this point, my husband did not have a job. And so I didn't really know what 2017 was going to look like. And I was anticipating a lot more change, and actually has happened. But I wrote a little bit about that again, telling all kinds of stories in this album. And then I just added a self-portrait that I had done in front of the Christmas tree on this page. Number 9 is something that I can share with you now. Before, when I was working on it, I had to hide it because This is all about the gifts, some handmade gifts that we made this year. So I made some jewelry for some of my nieces, and then my husband, he was doing some original art on a white van for one of his really good friends. So I just told a little bit about how we always like to have a little bit of handmade to our season. And then a little Let It Shine. So one of the things that I like when putting together an album is to have bits and pieces like this, and then to not really know, like you don't really know how you're going to use it the next day. So it allows for some creativity to know how you're really going to, you know, use the back side of this circle, this messy circle, which this was one of my absolute favorite pieces of the kit. And I think I still have some left, so I'm excited to be able to use them this year. This is just journaling that goes along with this photo here. So I liked to be able to use that space there. And then you can just see the number 10. So this is a story without a photo, which is totally doable. Definitely recommend. Don't have to have photos for everything. This was just, I cut this out with my silhouette, which I need to figure out because it's not working right now. So I got to figure that out before the season is upon us. But there was a campaign that my church put out, which was #LightTheWorld. And it was a campaign that was basically about service, and it was kind of like an Advent, like doing one thing every day, and it was very service oriented. So I just wrote a little bit about what our family was kind of doing. And then the next one was my 12 of 12 project. So on the 12th of every month, I take pictures all day long. If you haven't heard, it's just a project I've been doing since 2009. And so instead of putting all the photos on one page, like I think I did that in 2015, I decided to do them on just one whole, I decided to spread it out on one page protector so that I would be able to get some little bits and pieces in there and not just have photos. So I thought that that was something fun to do, because I definitely like having, you know, confetti and little bits and pieces. And then this is the journaling that goes along with the photo. So I always have a sentence or two about each photo, and that's something I've been doing for years. So I love being able to add this project into the book. And then just a little something to add right in the middle. I really, like I said, I like having little bits and pieces to add just randomly through the album, just to add some interest. So this pocket here was included in the album, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to have everyone in the family write what their favorite thing about Christmas is. And so I had them write it all out, and I just stuck it in the pockets. I had my husband and I do that as well. You can see, I don't know if that's hard to see, I'll lift it up. That says 13 right there. That actually came in the, I think it was One Little Bird maybe, her kit from 2015. If I remember correctly. So I love that I still have some of those supplies left that I can use year after year. Okay, so on the back side of that, I have my ornaments. So one of the things that I do is I collect ornaments when I travel, and there's definitely a lot of people that do that. And last year, in November 2016, we went to Amsterdam, Belgium, and Iceland. So these were my newest ornaments that I got to add to my collection. So it was definitely a story that I wanted to tell this year. And so I just told that story over here. You can see that these are two 3x4 cards that I just stuck on the back side of a 3x8 card. This is an actual 3x8 page protector, but it just kind of looks like it is separated there. So that's an option as well. On the back side, so actually this story is all about Christmas, or sorry, the whole book's about Christmas. This story is all about music, because music is a huge part of our holidays. Got violin going on, guitar, ukulele, you know, there's just a lot of performances and things happening. So this paper I actually made. This is a carol that I just typed out, made a little bit bigger, and then I ran it through the ink machine using the white foil. Now this is definitely something that I will be doing again, because I loved this. I loved the look of it. I thought it looked so great. So I will definitely be doing this again this year in some way. I don't know how, but I definitely will. This was an embellishment that was a little bit bigger, so I decided to stick it on the outside of the page protector. And you can see that it's lasting. It's really stuck down pretty well. On the back side, I am just telling a story that's all about our wrapping and how much I enjoy wrapping and making the packages really beautiful. I mean, I do them very simply, but you know, I try to do the packaging, and I made the little tags this year, which I normally do, so I thought that I would show those as well. So that's what that story is about. And because they're, you know, 4 pockets, I just cut that photo in half. The next story is all about the snow, lots and lots of snow. So I thought that would, I think, and I can't remember, but I'm not sure. It says, "Hello, snow, we've been waiting for you." So maybe there wasn't a lot of snow earlier in the season, but after this point, we got a lot of snow, which was pretty exciting. Definitely love a snowy Christmas. On the back side of there, the story that I told was all about our favorite holiday movies. Well, actually, specifically, on Sunday, we watch a holiday movie every night, and I think we start that in November. So I thought that I would, you can see that I have the dates here. So we started the week, this was probably Thanksgiving weekend. So you can see, I didn't add the dates here, but I need to go in and add the dates. But you know, we knew that we always watch this around Christmas, like on Christmas Day. So I need to add those dates, but these are usually, you'll see this again. I don't know if I'll tell this story, but these are definitely going to be the movies that we end up watching again because they are our favorites. So number 19 is a story about going sledding. Fun to finally get snow and be able to do sledding, but it's not the typical sledding story. So this one is all about how we had a lot of fun, but we got injured as well. We ended up falling off the sled. My camera hit me in the face. My daughter got a bloody nose because I think I landed on her. So it was kind of scary. Luckily, we both walked away fine. The only big thing was just that she had a bloody nose and I had scrapes on my face. So really happy it wasn't more serious than that. But you know, these are the types of stories that I'm telling, you know, having fun sledding, but yeah, there was a little bit of an incident. So definitely getting real life there. This is, I think, a little bit twisted. I'm not going to worry about untwisting it right now. And then, yeah, the Celebrate This is on the back of that. Fun to have little pockets with confetti and just adding little bits and pieces. All right, so this story right here is all about my 20th year anniversary. So our anniversary is actually on December 19th, and I usually save it for the 19th. But this time I decided to do it on the 20th because it was our 20th year anniversary. So I did emboss this in red glitter embossing powder. And then instead of doing like the traditional journaling that you would probably imagine, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to go through and list all the numbers from the last 20 years. So this says, you know, 20 years, 7,305 days, 3 daughters, 6 houses, 1 apartment, and I just go on and on. So I thought that that was a fun way to add a little bit of journaling and tell a story about the 20 years of our life together, primarily because I think I told this story in Project Life as well, so I already had some journaling there. All right, so on the back side of that, I've got the word gratitude that I just did some gold foiling on there. And then on this side, you can see I have another party bag. Like I said, definitely probably see these in the album this year. But I made a large tag that was just wrote about all the things that I'm grateful for. So this is definitely a story that I like to tell as well. Is just writing about the things that I'm grateful for during the season. These stars right here actually were from one of those screen prints that Allie had. I think this came in her 2015 kit. Really like it. Used it in that album. Wanted to use it again. Maybe I'll use it again here. There's nothing that says you can't repeat items like the stars or the bags. Just, you know, totally your album. That's one thing that I think is a lot of fun, having leftover supplies that you can use them in the years to come. And then the day, or not day 22, but the story 22, I think actually was on December 22nd. We celebrated our Christmas Eve party that we normally do with my husband's family on Christmas Eve. We did a little bit earlier this year just because of, you know, other family schedules. So I took one page protector and I just grabbed some photos that highlighted that event, and then just did little bits of journaling. It's kind of like 1 or 2 word journaling there. And that's how I decided to tell the story from this event, which I think this is a great way to be able to get a lot of photos in. All right, now the next one is just a very simple story. This is all about my puppy. We call her Lola Puppy, but she is actually 4, I think. She was very intrigued by the Christmas tree this year, and so I just wrote a little bit of journaling there. So really, it doesn't have to be more complicated than this, which is one of the reasons why I really love this project. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you want. On the back side, I'm telling a story of one of our favorite traditions. This is number 24, so this goes with this photo here. It's all about the pajamas. So that's a big tradition of ours, is to have pajamas on Christmas Eve. I always buy the kids pajamas. So you can see them there opening up. The photo's a little bit blurry, but I love having it. I'm really grateful that I was able to make it so big. I think this is even a little bit bigger than the 6x8 because it's the size of the page protector, but I just loved having this big photo. I definitely want to add some more big photos in this album coming up. And on the back side of there, just another photo. I just turned it black and white. And that's just of the Christmas tree with a book. Then here's just another little bit in pieces to put. This did not turn out awesome, the foiling. You can see there's a lot of black, but I decided to use it anyway. I think that sat on my desk for almost the whole month, and I decided to throw it in right now. I think probably because I wanted to have this 25 on the back and I was looking for something to add. So again, I did the red glitter embossed there for the 25. And then this is the last story I'm telling, which is the day of Christmas. So I decided, instead of just picking out a couple photos and just, you know, just having like a couple photos to highlight the day, I decided that I was gonna add as many stories and as many photos as I wanted. So I've got, you know, a 10 things list of things that happened that day, some things that I want to remember, and then just photos from that day. And I love having these see-through transparencies. So just some of my favorite photos from the morning. It was a very low-key day, which was really nice. And then some more photos from when we spent time with some family. And I think this paper was always something I intended to use that I never actually got around to. And this as well. I think I used this for one of the other pockets and never got around to using it. So I can either keep it here or I can actually use it in this next year, which maybe I will do that because it's pretty cute. Anyway, you guys, this is my album. So this has been a lot of fun for me actually to walk through it and remember these stories. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I look through it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how can I make an album that I love just as much? But you know what, you definitely can, because every year has different stories and different things come up and it's a different time in your life. And so I love that. I really love that about having an album, is different products, different stories, different photos, all make them totally unique. Even if you're telling the same stories, you're telling them a little bit differently, or your kids have grown up, you know, those kinds of things. So I am really looking forward to working on the album this year. I'm excited for the supplies to come in. You definitely will not see me do I don't do a lot of prep before. I mean, I do gather my supplies, so I might show you, I might do a video that shows the supplies that I'll probably be using. But other than that, I start from scratch and I just let the stories dictate how the album goes. So anyway, you guys, hopefully you were able to get some inspiration. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. One thing that I will remind you of is all these pages, everything that I did this year, I have a process video that goes along with it. So I will add the link at the top here or down below. Look in the description and you can find all of the process videos. So if you have questions about how I made anything, definitely go check those out first, because I probably answer your question there. If I didn't, definitely put it below and I will answer it for you. All right, you guys, have an awesome day and we will catch you in the next video. Bye.